Welcome to Stoic Today, where emotional clarity meets unshakable strength. Thank you for being here. In a world full of noise and deception, the fact that you've arrived here means one thing. You're ready. Ready to stop pretending you're okay when you're bleeding inside. Ready to face what hurt you and reclaim the peace it tried to steal. If you've ever been betrayed, abandoned, or emotionally torn down, then what you're about to hear is not just another message, it's your moment of truth. You prescribe to Stoic Today now because this isn't just about healing, it's about awakening. It's about making sure betrayal never blindsides your soul again. Some of the most devastating betrayals aren't loud. They don't come wrapped in dramatic confrontations or obvious betrayal. They come in whispers. In cold absences. In the silence of someone who disappears the moment loyalty starts to cost them something. And those moments? They mark you. Not just with pain, but with awakening. These are the betrayals that don't just scar you emotionally, they shape you spiritually. They show you not only who they are, but who you are no longer willing to be. They reveal your boundaries. They define your standards, and they ignite a new era of self-respect that cannot be undone. If this message struck something deep within you, don't stay silent, because this isn't just recovery, this is your reinvention. Let's continue. They were all in when it was easy. When the skies were blue and the blessings were flowing, they clapped the loudest. But the moment struggle entered the picture, they disappeared without explanation. That's not just walking away. That's betrayal. See, loyalty isn't tested in laughter. These aren't just emotional scars, they're warning signs. These betrayals don't just hurt, they wake you up. They teach you not only who someone else is, but who you are no longer willing to be. And that clarity is a turning point. Loyalty is proven in silence, in chaos and suffering. It's not who shows up when it's convenient, it's who stays when it's inconvenient. And if someone walked away from you when you needed them the most, when your soul was on life support, they didn't just betray your trust, they betrayed your worth. Because love is a choice, not a circumstance. These aren't just emotional scars, they're warning signs. These betrayals don't just hurt, they wake you up. They teach you not only who someone else is, but who you are no longer willing to be. And that clarity is a turning point. Introduction. Betrayal you must never forget. And if they chose to quit when it wasn't comfortable, they never loved you at all. Let me tell you something real. People will claim to care about you. They will promise to stand by you, but the fire always exposes the fakes. And here's where most people make the mistake. They try to justify that betrayal. They say, maybe they were going through something. These aren't just emotional scars, they're warning signs. These betrayals don't just hurt, they wake you up. They teach you not only who someone else is, but who you are no longer willing to be. And that clarity is a turning point. Maybe they didn't know how to handle my pain. Maybe I expected too much. But let me speak truth into your spirit. Real love doesn't run. Real loyalty doesn't flinch when life gets hard. If they left when you were bleeding, they weren't your partner. They were just passing through. Don't you ever apologize for needing someone to stand beside you. These
was never your source. And you start reconnecting with the woman you used to be before. You started bending, shrinking, and compromising just to keep someone who couldn't even handle your life. There is power in shifting the focus because when your eyes are on him, your spirit is drained. But when your eyes turn back to God and to yourself, healing begins. You can't be whole while your mind is still wrapped around someone who broke you. You've got to let go of what distracted you and pick up what develops you. Start feeding your purpose instead of feeding your pain. You see, when you shift the focus, you start to remember who you are. You remember the woman who had dreams before she got distracted. The woman who was confident before she started begging for reassurance. The woman who used to smile from the inside out, not because of a man, but because she was aligned with her purpose. That woman is still in you. She's just been buried under the weight of what you were hoping he would become. But hear me, his inability to value you does not mean you are without value. You were never meant to revolve around his inconsistency. You were created to rise in your calling, to walk in grace, to stand in peace. And you can't do that if you're still checking your phone, hoping he finally sees your worth. What if I told you the breakthrough you've been praying for will only come once you stop looking at him and start looking within? There is a glow that returns to a woman when she stops obsessing over someone else's behavior and starts nurturing her soul. That's when your skin clears up, your mind sharpens, your energy gets lighter. Why? Because you've stopped leaking your power. You've stopped begging for love and started becoming it. You've stopped worrying about whether he's thinking of you and started falling in love with the woman God has always been shaping in you. This isn't about revenge. It's not about showing him what he lost. It's about finally honoring what God gave you. Your heart, your time, your presence, that's sacred. And when you treat it like it's sacred, others will have no choice but to do the same or get out of the way. You don't have to make noise. You don't have to announce your healing. Just start moving different. Start investing in your peace like it's priceless, because it is. Start speaking to yourself with kindness. Start walking with your head high. Not because you want him to notice, but because you remembered who you are. Let the world adjust to your new standard. And if he comes back, let your healed heart decide, not your lonely one. Because when you shift the focus and find wholeness in your own reflection, you don't just take anyone back out of habit or history. You wait for someone who mirrors the peace you fought so hard to find. You've been giving him your attention for too long. Now it's your turn. It's time to fall back in love with you. Time to sit with your own soul. Time to show up for yourself like you showed up for him. And when you do that, when you truly shift the focus, you won't need to chase anything. What's meant for you will recognize you. What's right for you will feel like peace. You're not supposed to carry it all. You were never meant to fix what's broken in someone else, especially when they don't want to be whole. I know you tried. I know you prayed, cried, waited, and held on longer than you should have. You gave your best, your heart, your time, but still, it wasn't enough to change him. And here's what I need you to hear today. That was never your job in the first place. You were not created to be anyone's savior. That's not your weight to bear. Your role was never to hold someone together who keeps choosing to fall apart. Some things, some people, you just have to put in God's hands. Because no matter how much you love them, you can't change them. No matter how many chances you give, you can't force them to grow. That's between them and God. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is let go. And that's hard when your heart is involved. When your soul feels tied to someone who keeps hurting you with their silence, with their inconsistency, with their inability to love you the way you deserve. But when you release what you were never meant to carry, something sacred happens. God picks it up. See, there's peace that comes when you stop trying to control every outcome. There's freedom and surrender. There's healing and trusting that even if it didn't go the way you wanted, it's still going according to plan, his plan. And that plan doesn't require begging. It doesn't require fixing. It just requires faith. I know it feels like walking away means losing, but sometimes walking away is actually winning. It's you choosing peace over chaos. It's you choosing obedience over emotional attachment. It's you saying, God, I trust you more than I trust the situation. Because he sees what you can't. He hears conversations you'll never hear. He knows the truth behind the mask, and he will never allow what's meant for you to slip away. Not when you're aligned with him. Some of you are losing sleep over someone God has already removed from your future. You're stressing about silence from a person who was only meant to be a lesson, not a lifetime. And you're holding on not because they're treating you right, but because you're afraid of starting over. But what if starting over is exactly what God wants? What if this ending is just the doorway to your healing? You got to get to the point where you stop reacting and start releasing. Don't block him out of frustration. Don't beg him out of fear. Just say, God, I don't know what's next, but I trust you with what's now. Say, I can't do this anymore on my own. I'm tired. I'm broken. I've done all I could. Now I give it to you. That prayer whispered through tears has more power than any emotional outburst ever will. When you let God handle what you can't, you stop living in confusion. You stop questioning your worth every time someone leaves. You stop rehearsing the past, trying to change the ending. You start trusting that your story isn't over. It's just turning a page. And here's the beauty. When you give it to God, you stop bleeding for people who never came to heal you. You stop overextending yourself for someone who was never equipped to love you right. You stop carrying dead weight and start walking lighter. Because where God is leading you, you can't take broken attachments. You can't carry bitterness. You can't bring baggage into a blessing. So today, don't force it. Don't chase it. Don't manipulate the outcome. Just trust Him. Trust that He's already ahead of you. Trust that He's preparing what you haven't seen. Trust that what feels like rejection is really His protection. And trust that the pain you're feeling now will one day make sense when you're standing in the middle of peace you didn't have to beg for. Healing doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows, in the quiet, in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. You don't need to announce it. You don't have to post about it. You don't need to let Him know you're moving on. Just do it. Just heal privately, quietly, and deeply. Let your silence speak. Let your growth do the talking. Because when you heal in secret, your comeback will speak volumes. See, the world teaches us that we need to be seen to be significant. That if people don't know we're doing better, it doesn't count. But God does His best work in the unseen places. Think about it. Seeds don't grow in the light. They grow underground, in the dark, in the soil no one sees. And that's where your healing is happening. Not on the surface, but deep in your soul. That's where the roots of your strength are forming. You've been through enough heartbreak, enough confusion, enough nights staring at the ceiling wondering why someone who said they cared could disappear like you were nothing. But listen to me. You are not nothing. You are a masterpiece under construction. And what God is building in you right now doesn't need an audience. It needs time. It needs patience. It needs protection. Not everyone deserves access to your healing process. Sometimes we make the mistake of trying to prove to the one who hurt us that we're okay. We dress it up, post the smiles, force the glow just to get noticed. But true healing doesn't seek validation. It finds peace. You don't heal just to be seen. You heal to be free. Free from the pattern, free from the pull, free from the pain that had you begging for crumbs when God was trying to give you a banquet. Don't let the silence fool you. It's not empty. It's sacred. It's where you find your voice again. It's where you remember your worth without needing it confirmed by anyone else. It's where you stop performing and start becoming. And let me tell you, when you start becoming whole again, it's not loud. It's not flashy. It's intentional. You wake up one morning and realize the anxiety's a little quieter. The memories sting a little less. The air feels lighter. That's healing. And when He circles back, and trust me, you won't have to prove anything. You won't need to explain the silence, the distance, the shift, because by then you'll be so rooted in.
Protect your peace, and understand this, you don't need to explain your worth to anyone. The only person who needs to recognize your value is you. And when you start treating yourself like you're valuable, the right people will do the same. Let them go. These aren't just emotional scars, they're warning signs. These betrayals don't just hurt, they wake you up. They teach you not only who someone else is, but who you are no longer willing to be. And that clarity is a turning point. Protect your peace, because it is sacred. And hear this clearly. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your worth. You don't need to prove your value to people who were never qualified to hold your heart. The only person who truly needs to recognize your worth is you. Because the moment you start treating yourself like you are valuable, like your soul, your time, your energy are treasures, something shifts. You stop settling. You stop chasing. And like a mirror, the right people will begin to treat you with the same honor. Let them go. Let those who couldn't stay, leave. Let those who couldn't respect your heart walk away. Because the truth is, not all emotional scars are signs of weakness, some are warnings. Warnings that you've been tolerating too much for too long. These betrayals? They didn't just cause pain. They awakened you. They taught you not just who they were, but more importantly, who you are no longer willing to be. And that realization, that quiet clarity, that is the moment your healing begins. That is the true turning point. You don't have to explain why you stopped answering. You don't have to justify why your energy changed. When you protect your peace, you protect your power. You forgive for your peace, but you guard your soul with fierce, unapologetic boundaries. This is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. This is your season of healing, and you have every right to own it. If this message gave you clarity, strength, or a deep breath of peace, don't let it end here. Like this message if you're reclaiming your worth and walking away from what no longer serves you. Comment below with the betrayal or limitation you're choosing to release today. And most importantly, subscribe to Stoic Today Now for powerful reminders that protect your heart, rebuild your mindset, and reconnect you with your highest self. Don't just stop here, because this wasn't just a message. It was a mirror. A mirror that showed you what you've survived. A mirror that reminded you of the strength you've gained. Now, take that strength into the next step. Listen to the next video. Keep going. This is your time, and your healing deserves the next chapter.